Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I am here today with the SCT Sampler Kit unboxing, and whenever I do an unboxing, I always do a project so you can see how to put these samples of goodies to use on a full-size project. Here's what your sample kit comes in the mail in this little cardboard mailer. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. If you don't know about these kits already, I will leave all the information in the description down below so that you can find out more. These can be purchased for as low as about $14 a month, and they come packed with lots of lovely goodies. They have a theme word every month, and this time we've got the word hello. There is a matching die that is happening this year. And our reusable item this month is a stamp set from Gina K. And on the back is a whole list of the supplies we get, usually divided up into 2 manufacturers. And indeed, this month we do have both our manufacturers. Last month was a little different, and so I was happy to see that this month we're back to kind of what I expect. The first collection here is from Maggie Holmes by American Crafts, and we have a collection of enamel stickers, puffy stickers, plenty of ephemera pieces, and then there is a sheet of cardstock stickers. And at first I thought they were going to be just plain like paperweight stickers, but they're actually a nice thick cardstock sticker. So those are pretty good product there. And then here is the sampling of the papers. These are from a collection pack of papers, and so they're cut down from that pack to a 6x6 size. And that means they're only single-sided. So when I was going through these, I already knew that, but just to give you a peek there, those are indeed only single-sided. So that is the collection from Maggie Holmes. And then next up we have a collection from Doodlebug, and I will link you up to all those products below. And here are the ephemera pieces. I do believe these come from 2 separate ephemera packs, so I will try and figure out what those packs are and link those as well. So we are going to take a look at the pattern papers next, and I will be honest that Doodlebug typically isn't my style, at least not the A-sides, because it tends to be a little too cute. However, I'm finding that this particular collection, at least the samplings that I got, are not overly cute for me. So next up you'll see this little potted plant paper, and I think that is sweet without being overly cute, so I liked that one more than I expected to. But of course the B-sides always pretty much work for me because they're generally pretty neutral, and in fact that black and white stripe will come up in the project that I turn to, and who can resist a lovely ombre or rainbow stripe? So those are some pretty papers to work with from Doodlebug. So like I said, I always do a project when I do an unboxing, so let's go ahead and move over to that. And when I work on projects out of these kits, I really do try to work from all of the pieces that are included in the kit. Even though you could use them individually and separately, I like to show that you can coordinate between different manufacturers. So I have that photo there of a vacation movie night that we were on. We were at the lake with friends and chilled out after a day of swimming and did a movie night. And I was just going through both collections of pattern papers to come up with a range of papers and color palette that will work. And I end up with just 3 of the Doodlebug papers and mostly the Maggie Holmes. And in the end, I only end up using 2 of the Doodlebug papers. So it's not a huge example of crossing manufacturers, but you'll see how it comes together in the end. I do pull a navy sheet of cardstock from my supplies because I did want to have a nice, rich, neutral base to this project because it is about, sitting in the dark watching a movie. So I wanted to get that mood there with that base cardstock. I decide my photo is too large, and as you notice, I am working on an 8.5 by 11 layout, which I am doing more and more lately. And I have done plenty of 12 by 12 layouts with these sample kits of supplies. So yes, you can do full-size, full-scale projects, even though this is a sampling of supplies. I will leave a link to the playlist so that you can see past examples of me doing 12 by 12 layouts with these. Getting back to this project, I did decide on a design layout for this, and I am cutting down pattern papers into some chunks and pieces that I use some math to work on. I have a strip over here on the side that I cut out of that Doodlebug striped paper, and I am going to make sure that I have an even border all the way around the edge of this. There's a 1/2 inch border. I cut this strip here, and then I use a little nip of that strip around the corner so that I can get this first row of paper into place. And then when I cut down the rest of my papers, everything I can just butt up together and my border will be even after that. So I believe that strip of pattern stripes is 2 I want to say 2.5 inches wide, and then the wood grain is 5 inches wide by 6 inches long, and then the floral down there is 4 inches long by 5 inches wide. So that is the base of my layout. What I'm going to do with that stamp set is create these little medallion embellishments, and I punched out 2 different size circles, one with the neutral cardstock and one with a sheet of the pattern paper, and then I'm going to use that pattern paper to stamp these flowers on there, and when I line those up and get those adhered down, I will go ahead and punch a hole in them, and now I've got these little flower medallions that I will be using as embellishment. So I'm going to finish up all those medallions. Once I've got the holes punched in there, I will go back to my stash and pull out some twine to tie those medallions. And while I was looking for that, I found some other leftover fibers, ribbons basically in my stash, and I brought those over to see how I could incorporate those. I thought the wide ribbon would be fun, but it is way out of scale for this 8.5 by 11 layout, so I'm going with the narrow ribbon. I am giving it a little trim to give it some fishtail banner interest there. This ribbon was very wrinkled on me, and I was trying to get it to behave, and my usual tricks weren't working, so I went with the stretch it and staple it trick so that it would stay in place and not look like a hot mess. So I sprinkle my medallions around in a visual triangle, and I will end up moving that visual triangle a little bit later, but that's where I thought I would place them for now. I do die cut my word hello out of the floral pattern paper from the bottom of the layout so that I can repeat that pattern up towards the top and help balance that out. I use a sentiment from the stamp set to enlarge my title that says hello beautiful day. And then I'm going through ephemera pieces to look and see what else can work. And I pulled out the Doodlebug tag initially, and because it's red, there was no other red going on in this layout, so I had to make sure I had enough embellishments to pull from various bits and pieces to spread that red around. And I found a flag from the Maggie Holmes collection that is red enough, a couple of hearts, and the tag from Doodlebug, and that helps spread that red around. So I am going to create my journaling out of that red tag by adding some stamped lines on there. I'm going to use the same stamping ink, which is a blue, midnight blue from Concord and Ninth, which goes with the background pattern paper is midnight blue from Concord and Ninth, and that's not the official color name, but that is the color idea there. Once I have some of these decisions down, I start adhering everything in place, and you can see that I moved that other medallion down next to my journaling tag, so that will be my third embellishment cluster. And I'm making sure that when I write out my journaling, I do leave space for the curvature of that tag to overlap it. And then I'm just sprinkling on little bits and pieces here. I did realize that I could get this pretty puffy flower with some goldness on there, because I can tuck it behind that tag without it overwhelming the layout. And the other enamel pieces from this project had a few kind of gold arrows on there. And so I got some of those on there. I was trying to add more enamel pieces to it, and I decided here's the point where I need to stop. I'm trying to add too much. And so you can see there how those gold enamel arrow pieces point to some of the interesting bits of the layout, including the title and the journaling. And that wraps up this project for this time. I hope you enjoyed seeing the SCT Sampler Kit unboxed, and that you got something useful out of seeing me put it to use on a project. If you did, I really appreciate a thumbs up, and I will be back next week with more crafty videos for you. I hope you'll join me then. Until then, have an artful day.